Well, thanks, Leanne. And of course, we were hearing before the news break, the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, NUMSA, saying that it welcomes the decision of the Labour Court to dismiss the contempt of court application, which was lodged by the former second Deputy President, Ruth Ntlokotse. And Irvin Jim still with me here as we're discussing all of these matters. So I think, you had quite an opportunity to explain exactly where things are, what they mean and how they came to be. But you also acknowledge that there's a huge mess here and things have been difficult for you as a union. So let's talk to that in terms of exactly what the union membership should make of all of these struggles and the strife at the top. If you are so embroiled in those sort of tussles at the top, when do you pay attention to members' issues?
Well, I think, Sagina, I will refuse as NUMSA General Secretary to believe that we are under siege, we are overwhelmed. I think that this has happened in the couple of months in the build-up towards the National Congress. Right through, the union have been servicing workers. You know that last year we went into the engineering strike where we fought against all odds. In 2020, workers, there was something called standstill, where workers could not get an increase. For the first time as a union, we had to go and tell workers that we are not negotiating in a year when the agreement was lapsing. In 2021, employers then thought they can repeat that. And we ended up in a strike where we have settled. I can tell you that this week, the majority of employers and the union, we would have extended, approached the Department of Labor because we secured for the first time the majority of employers who agree with NUMSA through that agreement that we must extend the agreement to non-parties so that workers who could not get increase for a couple of years can secure an increase and also ensure a fair competition in terms of employers in the engineering sector. We are, as I'm sitting here, negotiating in auto, in tire. We just settled ESCOM in the recent past on 7%, better than what government is putting on the table. And we're a union that has been busy at work. There's no crisis. We're meeting our obligation of delivering quality service to our members. But yes, you're right. We cannot take this light. The fact that there are individuals who are all out, dissatisfied, campaigning. We would have hoped that once the conference, we had regional conferences that we addressed, we coordinated. We didn't stand up and say this is a list of people who will be elected in this regional congress. People were elected. We were elected in a national congress unopposed against all the will of the individuals who are dissatisfied with the current leadership. And by the way, we got a mixed bag of both old and new. People might be tired about Irvin Jim, he has been in the labor movement and so forth. But the fact that workers unanimously elected us there was nobody who was stopped against the propaganda that people were being suspended and so forth. When a judge, for instance, uplifted the suspension, people were allowed to participate and to contest the elections.
And I suppose those internal strife issues, could be discussed and it will be debated because there will be your version, there will be someone else's version. Obviously. All the time. So, that doesn't really take us anywhere for this discussion. For instance,
tactically, I am quite sure that the reason why, and I think we must say this, I think that those who ran to court and who want to nullify the conference, despite the fact that the judge didn't say, the ruling didn't say, NUMSA, you can no longer go to a conference. It says, NUMSA, we're stopping you, we interdict you not to proceed until such time you complied with your constitution. And they interpreted that to mean that NUMSA cannot sit down and fix those gaps and proceed with the conference. For them, they took a conscious decision to stay away and not to participate in that particular conference.
So as I say, those issues very intricate and they could take forever to really unpack. So let's talk about today's national shutdown and your participation as NUMSA in today's shutdown. Just give us a sense of where you are.
I think the attitude generally with continuous deepening socio-economic conditions of the working class, SAFTU and COSATU standing together, it's something to be applauded. We fully support that the plight of the working class must be raised. What is happening in this country is serious levels of deindustrialization. When it comes to this socio-economic condition and inflationary pressures, it is workers who are carrying the burden. So we fully support that, but you would appreciate that with us having been entangled into internal squabbles, us being promised about the jail, we could not be able to do what we normally do, which is to go all out in campaigning and mobilize NUMSA members to fully participate in the strike. So I think it will be a mixed bag. I think that there will be workers who will participate in support of the two federation call for a strike, which we support. But there will be workers, because NUMSA could not go all out thoroughly as we used to do, to mobilize workers to join the strike.
So I think, Mr. Jim, you will appreciate, therefore, when you spoke earlier, you said, I gave Phakamile Hlubi Majola a hard time about the cost of that conference in Cape Town. And I did. And I stand by that. You speak about the deepening socio-economic crisis. Your members are at the forefront of bearing the brunt of that as the working poor, as they would be characterized at this point, given all the escalation costs associated with just going to work, for example, and basically eking out a living. So with that, you know, as a backdrop, and looking at what is happening in the workplace, you speak about some of your advances that you've made in negotiations. Stats SA released yesterday some of the stats showing the automotive industry is one of those where you speak of your advances that has really lost jobs as well. So, you know, there are various nuances at play here that cannot be ignored. So with that as a backdrop, let's talk about, you know, what your role is as a union then in terms of trying to cushion the blow for your members when it comes to socio-economic hardships.
I think the NUMSA National Congress, one of the things that it seriously debated is this whole question of how as a union we deliver quality service to members. I mean, we are a union that is bleeding jobs. We're losing workers because there is serious deindustrialization that takes place, and we need to grow membership. We grow membership by recruiting membership, but you're not going to retain that membership if you don't have strong organizers that deliver quality service. The unity that we're talking about must be a sacrosanct unity. We must strive for maximum unity at all material time. We can only be able to achieve that, Sakina, if individuals who makes up the organization, including myself, we are privileged to be in leadership. It's not a right. But when the majority decision is being taken in constitutional structures, I can't have. This is my right.
But what I mean about mitigating the blow, cushioning the blow.
I agree. I would say mitigating that blow is going to take twofold in terms of that conference. It's going to take us defending the gains of workers, improving their conditions through negotiations. It's going to take up campaigns like SAFTU and COSATU is doing to begin to say you need a state that has got an expansionary budget. You need a state that is putting together a stimulus package that can create jobs and ensure that the many people who do not have jobs in this country, those people have got jobs. But until such time you address the whole question of the structure of South African economy, because what we have not won in the base, which is the economy, you cannot win it in superstructure, which is politics. So this country, the jobs we're losing down, the economy we're destroying now by a government non-action, we will not recover from that.
I want to ask you about the NUMSA Investment Company, but we are out of time. So I'm going to invite you back just to talk about the funds in that company, because this seems to be at the heart of some of the discontent in your organization. But just one question as I wrap this. How much money is in that company, the investment company of NUMSA?
Well, we don't know. I can't.
How can you not know? How come nobody knows how much money is
No,
there?
no. I must answer you honestly. I don't run that company. A good perception could be created, which is basically that's the issue. The issue is that you have got this elephant in the room, which has become a NUMSA investment company that has captured NUMSA leadership. And as such, NUMSA leadership does not expect this company to account and so forth. In fact, the big issue that is being used is that at some point we would have capitalized the company.
But you're the General Secretary, Mr. Jim. How can you not know how much is in the investment company of the...
No, you said you will call me back.
Yeah,
we will answer you, and what I'm saying is that if there's anything we have said is that the NUMSA investment company that owes us the loan must pay back the money.
But are you not derelict for not knowing that right now? How can you not know how much money you have invested as a union and how much is being administered by that investment company?
No. I think we're making a serious mistake. The union, when the NUMSA investment company was created in 1998, I was still much younger than this. I fought against that. When that decision was finally taken, I had to support it. And one thing we have done, when I was elected in 2008, the NUMSA investment company was under liquidation. So we can do what you want of taking stock, that since it was about to be liquidated, what has been a turnaround, and I think that they have grown, to tell you the honest truth. They have insurance businesses, they're running funeral services better, and so forth. What you are looking for is what is the balance sheet.
We're out of time, but I'm saying it's just amazing that nobody knows how much money is.
When you say nobody knows, did you
I've asked you, I've asked Pagamile Hlubi, I've asked one of your veterans.
Yeah, because we're busy in Parliament, we're not looking for balance sheet
and nobody
companies.
seems to know.
But we will honor the
Okay,
the call.
let's do that.
Cool.
All right, that was NUMSA's General Secretary, Irvin Jim, speaking to us. And of course, after yesterday's court declaration. And of course, we'll come back to this topic because there's still so many things to be discussed. But for now, let's take a quick break.